Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the magical, wonderful, and exciting multiverse of Magic 2014. So, in the previous episodes, we went over the basics of Magic the Gathering, what it is as a card game, how you play it, the basic core concepts and gameplay mechanics, and we gathered all those lessons together, and in the last episode, we took on Chandra, a Planeswalker, and we just about defeated her. It was kind of a little bit close for a while, but we managed to take her on, and so that unlocked the single player campaigns in the different planes. Now the only one available to us at the moment in the campaign is Innistrad. All the rest of them are actually locked at the moment. So Zendikar, Chandalar, Lara, Ravnica, they're all locked at the moment. So unfortunately it's just Innistrad for the moment. As I mentioned in the last video, Innistrad is a plane which was featured in 2011-2012, an expansion that came out. You had Dark Ascension, you had Avacyn Restored, and those ones, and yeah, there's lots of really cool stuff.
A pendant from a plane called Innistrad. The mark on it symbolizes some militant order there. If you can track down its owner, maybe they'll know something about Ramaz. Careful though. Nothing's more dangerous than armed zealots.
So this is something to do with the kind of the backstory around Magic 2014 of, I believe it's Chandra is looking for some sort of scroll or something like that. Feel free to correct me on that if I'm wrong. As I mentioned, I think right off the bat I wasn't really paying very much attention to the backstory because personally it doesn't really interest me very much. It's detailed here, so it kind of shows you what's going on, but as I say, I'm not really paying very much attention to it, so we're just going to dive right in. The cool thing about Innistrad I found was it was my first time kind of getting really stuck into Magic. Before that it had been years and years before that when I had gotten into it, and it was only kind of a little bit and I didn't really go wild with it. So in Innistrad back in 2011-2012 I really got into it, and I kind of got stuck into the core concepts, and you had these kind of double-sided cards that you could flip over and transform once certain things came along. Now they're not necessarily in the 2014 version because the way Magic works, if you're unfamiliar with it, is every year or 2 years stuff that was previously there rotates out of the standard set, which is what's normally played in kind of big tournaments and stuff like that, and it's what you generally find if you were going to your local Friday Night Magic and stuff like that. There would only be the current core set and then the last 3 or 4 expansions, the last 3 or 4 sets of the expansion that's tied with that. A little bit complicated, but the best way to figure out what's legal and what's not is just simply to go on to the wizards.com/magic website and have a look, and they'll show you which ones are actually part of the standard set at the moment and which ones are then not part of the standard but part of the modern. So anyway, that's enough about that. That's more about the kind of physical card game of Magic, which I'll be getting into over the coming weeks and months. So let's kind of head straight into this. So this is Moorland Zombies, is the encounter that we're going to face now at the moment in the plane of Innistrad. So encounters are a way to test how your deck performs against a specific strategy. You play your deck as normal, but your opponent plays the same cards in the same order every time. Recognizing the patterns in your opponent's play can help you beat the encounter. So the way that these are set up is kind of similar to the tutorial that we played through. You're going to have a series of encounters which kind of they sort of tutor you on the game. They tutor you on ways that people play the game, or ways that the game can be played, and allows you to kind of, number one, identify that, and number two, counter that and actually fight back. So I'm going to go with my Hunter Strength deck as always, because I'm a green mage, I'm a green planeswalker. Okay, so this is our opening hand. We have 3 forest. Sacred Wolf, Sentinel Spider, Prey Upon, Enlarge. There's a nice bit of mana there, but there's not much I can do right off the bat. I think I'm going to draw a new hand. Okay, so we've got 3 mana. We have Rancor, which is an enchantment. So I can enchant a creature, he gets +2/+0, has Trample. Oh, I got Primeval Bounty, and I got Revive. Now, yeah, I'm kind of just going to have to go with this because chances of getting a good hand after this kind of diminish. I have 3 mana, I should be drawing some stuff, so we'll just do it anyway. The good thing about having Primeval Bounty is, yeah, I know where it is, I've got a great card in my hand, but it's got a 6 mana cost, so I can't play it until at the earliest turn 6. So we'll keep it and we'll play a forest and we'll pass the turn. So he's played a swamp, and now he's playing Diregraph Ghoul. Enters the battlefield tapped, and it's a 2/2. So Diregraph Ghoul is a card that's come into the 2014 set from Innistrad, as far as I can recall. I do remember receiving a special limited edition print of Diregraph Ghoul in a foil version at some sort of Friday Night Magic event about 2 or 3 years ago. So nothing else to do. I'm just gonna pass it over. So this is the problem I had with the first hand as well. I wouldn't have been able to do much, unfortunately. The one thing I don't like about the way that this functions is it spreads out the steps of the game, and it doesn't allow you to just say, look, I'm done, I'm ending my turn. It kind of forces you to go through the different stages. It is obviously, in that way, it's helpful, because you kind of get more into the, okay, this is my upkeep, this is my draw phase, this is my main, blah blah blah. But obviously it doesn't really explain it to you in the same way that it would be explained to you if you were playing the physical card version of the game. So we're going to cast Forest, and oh crap, I thought he was a 3 mana cost, so I still don't have any creatures on the board, so this is not good. The only upside of this is that, you know, I'm going to be able to play some stuff once I have 4 or 5 mana, but I'm not in a good position right now. So he's going to swing for everything, because I have nothing to threaten him with. And there we go, I'm going to take 4 damage. Okay. Let's play that, and now I can play Cudgel Troll. So this guy is pretty cool. I like him because I normally have enough mana to regenerate him at least once in a turn when I'm using him, so that allows me to kind of keep him alive. I can kind of use him as a a monster shield, really, or a human shield is what I wanted to say. I can throw him in the path of things that would otherwise kill me or do me damage, and I can then regenerate him, which is pretty handy. I don't have enough mana to do anything else, so I'm just going to pass the turn. So he's got 4 mana now, and he's going to swing at me for 4 again. Oh, okay. Interesting. He did not. Right, okay. So Rancor, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and has trample. When Rancor is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Rancor to its owner's hand. Awesome. Okay, so it just keeps coming back into my hand if it gets put into a graveyard with a creature. So if you cast your minds back, an enchantment is something that you this is an aura specifically, so it gets attached to a creature, like my Cudgel Troll, for example. If Cudgel Troll dies with that enchantment attached to him, then they both go in the graveyard, so the enchantment goes into the graveyard as well. This means, so when Rancor is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Rancor to its owner's hand. This means if the creature it's attached to dies and it is forced to go into the graveyard, it just pops right back into my hand, which is really, really cool, because it's only a 1 green mana cost, so I can more than likely play it again pretty much straight away. Okay, so enough about that. I have enough mana to play my Sentinel Spider, who has Vigilance and Reach. Vigilance is very good, I like that. Garrick's Companion, he's a 3/2 and he has Trample, but he's only a 2 mana cost, so I'm not quite sure. I want to play Sentinel Spider and the next turn attach Rancor to him, because he'll get Trample, but the Vigilance means that I can attack and still have him available to block in the next turn. So I think I'm going to do that. Fantabulous. Okay, let's just have a quick look at these guys. I want to see if any of them have Death Touch or anything annoying like that. No, nothing special aside from Diregraph Ghoul, who enters the battlefield initially tapped, so that's fine. I'm not going to attack. We'll hold off on that until next turn. Skip the attack, and then we continue. So I now have 2 creatures that are able to block his guys. More than likely he's going to drop something else here. No? Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. Oh, crap. Okay. So this is an enchantment, so that would be a permanent, and it just sits on the battlefield and does whatever its triggered ability is. So this one says, at the beginning of your upkeep, so that's at the beginning of my opponent's upkeep, put X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is half the number of zombies you control, rounded down. So at the moment, half of the number of zombies he controls would be 1, I believe. These are both. That's a zombie. That's a zombie. So at the beginning of his upkeep, he can't do it now, but at the beginning of his next upkeep, in the next turn, he will spawn a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Right, okay, so if I simply take out one of these guys, half of 1 rounded down is 0. So that means he'll generate nothing. So I need to try and keep him at 1 or less monsters. That will be tricky. Okay. So hunt the weak, +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then that creature fights target creature you don't control. I don't have prey upon, that was in my last hand. So we're going to pay 1 and give Rancor to my Sentinel Spider. So he's now a 6/4. I'm then also going to use Hunt the Weak on Sentinel Spider. He then becomes a 7/5. And I'm going to make him fight one of these guys. Fantastic. So he survives because he only took 2 damage. I don't have anything else to do this turn. So I'm going to pass it to the combat step. And I'm going to attack with this guy because he is not tapped. So this is why I chose him over Garrick's Companion, because he has the vigilance, so he doesn't tap when he attacks. So he should just straight up take 7 damage. So I now have the upper hand at this point. About 2 turns ago, I didn't have the upper hand. He was just swinging at me regardless. Mercilessly. Okay, so let's see what he does now. At the beginning of his upkeep, blah, half of 1 is rounded down is 0, so he didn't generate a zombie token. Apologies if I'm going a little bit fast on this. I do unfortunately have a tendency to speak quite fast when I'm anxious or excited, and you know, Magic makes me both of those. So I'll try and reel that back. So we have a Ghoul Raiser. He just FYI, he now has access to 6 mana, so he's gonna use up half of that, 3 mana, to cast this guy. When Ghoul Raiser enters the battlefield, return a zombie card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Now he only has 1, so at random is just gonna bring back that guy I just killed in the last turn. So that means, because this guy is a zombie and this guy is a zombie, he's gonna have 3 zombies. Half of 3 rounded down is thankfully only 1, so he's only gonna generate 1. But I would have to kill this guy and this guy in my next turn in order to prevent him from spawning any more creature tokens. So that's going to be a little bit awkward. So obviously his strategy here is just to keep spawning tokens. If you've watched any of the previous episodes, you'll know that that's something that I like to do. So I'm a little bit pissed that he's stealing my strategy, but I don't have a deck at the moment in Magic 2014 that will do that anyway, so I suppose I can let it go. Okay, so Bramble Crush, fantastic. So Bramble Crush says destroy target non-creature permanent. Now permanent is anything that stays on the battlefield until it's forced to leave. So this enchantment would count as a permanent. It's not a creature, so I can now use my Bramble Crush, use 4 mana to cast Bramble Crush and kill that. So that's going to be nice. I like that. So let's play that. Let's sack that. Boom. Away you go. Fantastic stuff. Okie doke. I don't have enough mana to do anything else aside from regenerate my Cudgel Troll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate this ability, which means that should he suffer enough damage to kill him, he will then regenerate and not die. I'm going to continue. And because this guy has vigilance, I have no problem attacking with him this turn because he won't tap. He'll be available to block in the next turn. And I also want to attack with Cudgel Troll because I want to do as much damage either to his creatures or to him as possible. So I'm going to swing with everything. We'll see who he declares as blockers. Okay, there we go. So he's declaring him as a blocker. His Walking Corpse is going to die, so he's now back down to 1 zombie on the board, which means, thankfully, even if he had, I don't know why I'm saying thankfully, because he doesn't have that Endless Ranks of the Dead anymore. Even if he had it, he now wouldn't be able to... wait, hang on. I'm getting confused now. Oh, okay, sorry. I don't know how, but I missed that guy. So, anyway, he doesn't have Endless Ranks of the Dead anymore, so it's fucking academic. Never mind. So Rotting Legion is a 4/5 zombie creature. He's used 5 mana to play that, so he's only has 2 left. And Rotting Legion enters the battlefield tapped. Now this brings him back to a total of 3 zombies. It's still only going to give him 1 if he had Endless Ranks of the Dead. I don't know why I'm still focusing on that, because I just zapped it, so I don't need to worry about it anymore. So, unfortunately I still only have 5 mana, and we're on turn, I think, 8 or 9 or something like that, so this is not good. Let's see, we have our Sacred Wolf, he's hexproof, that's good. I don't have enough mana to play Primeval Bounty. Return target green card from your graveyard to your hand. That would only allow me to sack one of his lands, because they're the only permanent he has that's not a creature. So there's no real point in using that at the moment. I have 5 mana, so I'm going to cast Garruk's Companion. And I'm also going to cast Sacred Wolf. And I'm going to swing at him again for everything. Or will I? So what he could do is he could block my Cudgel Troll with these 2 guys. I don't have enough mana to regenerate him at the moment. So in fact I'm only going to swing with my Sentinel Spider. So the urge is definitely there to swing with as much as possible. Normally you're going to want to curb that as much as possible so that you don't end up putting yourself in a position where you can't block. Okay, so he's blocked with both of those. They should both die. My Sentinel Spider survives. Fantastic. Good stuff. Okay, so we only have the Rotting Legion to worry about. Okay, so he has access to 8 mana. He's not swinging. He's not playing anything. He's just passing the turn. Now I have more mana. Fantastic. I can now play Primeval Bounty. So Primeval Bounty says whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. So whenever I play one creature, I now get another creature token. Or whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life. So this is really, really good. So I'm going to play that. Now, it doesn't have any effect in this turn at the moment, unfortunately. But that's okay. So then, what we're going to do is... I think at this point I'm going to swing with everything, because he only has a 4/5 to stop me. He can only block one of my creatures with this guy. The best one for him to block would be this one, and I'll still do 4, 7, 10 damage. So I'm going to attack with everything. He decides to block that one. I don't know why. And there we go. Fantastic. Okay, so I've defeated Moorland Zombies and unlocked a card. Overrun. I already have Overrun, so that's fine. I'm going to go into Deck Manager because for some reason what the game decides to do is it decides to just add it into your deck straight away. So it doesn't just leave it unlocked, it adds it straight into your deck immediately, giving me 61 cards in my deck instead of 60. And the more cards you have in your deck, the lower the chance of pulling a particular card, or the lower the chance of getting a specific card in your opening hand, etc. So you really, unless it's absolutely vitally necessary, you don't want to have more than 60 cards in your deck for, you know, a standard duel. Now I've toyed around with this myself, playing physical Magic, and really just it does bear itself out. If you put in too many cards, you know, you will really struggle, and I found that lots of times when I had a deck with about even just 65 cards, just those 5 extra cards, they really do make the difference. So, okay, we're going to go into our next encounter. So this is the Skursdag Cultists, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they play. I have the answer you seek, he whispers. You follow him to an underground chamber where hooded figures appear from the alcoves chanting, "The price is blood." Interesting. Okay. I don't know what the Skursdag Cultists are going to use as their kind of theme, but I guess we'll see. Okay, so yeah, this will do, because I'll be able to play Garruk's Companion on the 2nd turn, be able to play him on the 4th turn, That on the 5th turn. Yeah, that's good. We'll keep that. Nice bit of mana there for us. Okay, so he's going to play Shadowborn Apostle. Okay. So this is a creature, human cleric. A deck can have any number of cards named Shadowborn Apostle. That's interesting. So normally when you're building a deck, you can only have 4 cards with the same name. So my except for a forest, so excepting basic land. So my Garruk's Companion, I can only have 4 of him. My Cudgel Troll, I can only have 4 of him. My Hunt the Weak, which is a spell, I can only have 4 of them. So apparently Shadowborn Apostle does not have the same limitation. As it says, a deck can have any number of cards named Shadowborn Apostle. So Shadowborn Apostle is a 1/1 human cleric creature, and if you pay 1 black mana and sacrifice 6 creatures named Shadowborn Apostle, you can search your library for a demon creature card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So basically, I don't know what demon he has in his deck, but he's going to use these apostles as sacrifices in order to summon his demon from his deck. And because they all have a 1 mana cost, you need to sacrifice 6 of them, there's 7 mana cost basically to summon this demon. I'm going to assume it has a higher cost than that, otherwise I can't see any point in actually using this, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully we won't even give him the chance, but it would actually be nice to see what demon he's planning on playing. So that's all we can do this turn. We're going to pass it back. He's going to swing for 1 because I have nothing to stop him. Why not? I have nothing to attack him with either, so it's a win-win for him. So I take 1 damage, down to 19. Now he's playing Shadowborn Apostle again. That's fine. And again. Wow, okay. So he's going for this straight off the bat. And all he actually needs is 1 mana to do this. So effectively, he now has 3 of them on the board. In the next turn, if he has 3 of them in his hand and another mana, he can play the 6 of them. And then his next turn, so in turn 4, he can then summon his demon. So he can have his demon right on the board on turn 4, and he can probably kill me by turn 5 if his demon is strong enough. So this is definitely one to watch out for. So I can either play Garruk's Companion or my Colonian Tusker. This guy is slightly tougher, so I'm going to play him first. And we can't do anything else this turn, so we're going to pass it over to him. So I'm going to say the likelihood is that he doesn't have 3 of those Shadowborn Apostles in his hand right now. However, given that this is a preset encounter, it's entirely possible that he does. So they're going to say, look, in this little bubble of reality that we're playing in, he has drawn all of them, and he's going to play the 6 of them. And it's looking like that's exactly what's happening now. Okay, fantastic. So he's only played 5 of them. Great. Okie doke. So, I now have... Awesome. Okay, so because I have 2 Prey Upons, and it says target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, there's nothing stopping me from playing both of them. I have enough mana to do so, and my Colonial Tusker will survive taking out 2 of these guys. So I'm going to cast Prey Upon. I choose him. I'm going to choose this guy. So he's dead, he's gone. I took 1 damage. Or Colonial Tusker takes 1 damage. I'm going to cast it again. Choose him. Do that. Boom. He's gone. So now he's back to 3 Shadowborn Apostles. So he can't trigger it. Hopefully he can't trigger it next turn. I assume he would have played the 6th one if he had had it in that turn. I don't have enough mana to do anything else, so I'm going to continue and pass the turn. I'm not going to swing, because more than likely I would lose my Colonial Tusker and only take out 1 of his guys. So that's it. We'll end the turn and pass it over. So it looks like we have avoided what was going to happen there, but then again, he can have any number of these guys in his deck. So it's entirely possible he's filled it up with, 10, 15 Shadowborn Apostles, and we're just going to be sacking them as we go. So he's got 4 of them now, and that's it. Fantastic. Okay, so that's good. So return target green card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so I'm going to play a forest. Hunt the Weak. So that's 4 mana. And he gets a +1/+1. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Garrick's Companion. And then I'm going to cast Revive. I'm going to pull back one of my Prey Upons. So that will allow me then to directly take out one of his guys, instead of just hoping that he'll block with one of them. Okay. Now, he can block with all of these guys at the moment, so that would be a win for me. Even though I'd lose a creature, that would be a win for me because my creature would take them out. So I'm going to swing with this guy, see what happens. More than likely, he's just going to take the damage because he doesn't want to lose any of them. Yeah, so he's not blocking. Takes it takes 3 damage. So he's down to 17 now. I'm still at 19, so that's good. He's not going to attack because he doesn't want to risk losing any of them. He's casting a 5th. Now this is where we have the problem. If he has another one, he can summon his demon straight away. Thankfully he does not. That's good. Okay, so I now have enough mana to both cast Hunt the Weak and cast Prey Upon, thereby taking out 2 of his guys and bringing him back down to 3. So I'm going to do exactly that. So I'm going to pump up my Colonian Tusker, and I'm going to choose one of these guys. And then I'm going to cast Prey Upon, choose my Colonian Tusker, and choose one of these guys. Fantastic. So it seems that this guy's entire deck relies upon being able to pull out 6 Shadowborn Apostles and using them as a sacrifice to basically summon his demon. I'm not going to attack. And we'll pass the turn. He's not going to attack either. He doesn't want to risk losing any of them. He's going to cast another one. So he's up to 4 of them. He doesn't have any more of them. Fantastic. So that's that. So, Nature's Lore. Search your library for a forest card and put that card onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. We could do with a bit more mana, but it's not hugely vital at the moment. I'm going to put Cudgel Troll on the board. And I'm going to swing with these guys to do him hopefully 7 damage. So I'm going to swing with these guys. He could block with these guys, but as I say, his entire deck revolves around that, so he's only going to block my Garrick's Companion with 2 of them, thereby taking out my Garrick's Companion. But he still takes 4 damage, and his zombies disappear, so it's a win-win for me. So he's playing another one, so he's back up to 3. Okay, and now we have Rancor. So, I'm going to play my Nature's Lore, because I'd like to get another mana onto the board. So I choose any one of these magical mana, put that in the battlefield. Boom, it's not tapped, it's available to me straight away. I'm going to cast my Rancor and put it on my Cudgel Troll. So he's now a 6/3. I'm also going to pay his cost to activate his ability so that he gets regenerated. I'm going to move into my combat. I'm going to swing for everything. Fantastic. So he's only blocking 1 of my creatures with one of his guys. My creature survives, no problem. So he's taken 6 damage. He's now down to 6. So basically, on my next turn, he needs to have... He needs to block this guy. He needs to block my Cudgel Troll, otherwise he's going down in the next turn. Doesn't have anything else to do. Awesome, I've got Enlarge. There's no way he's going to stop this. And it must be blocked this turn if able. So I have Enlarge. It gives target creature +7/+7 and it gains trample until the end of turn. It must be blocked this turn if able. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to cast it on my Colonian Tusker, because this guy already has trample. And then I'm just going to swing with everything. So there's no way this guy can survive at the moment. He only has 3 creatures. No matter which of them blocks which of my creatures, he doesn't have enough to soak up the damage, which is going to trample onto him anyway. It looks like I've unlocked an achievement here as well. I'm going to have a look in a moment to see what that is. Ta-da! Fantastic! So we took him out and we won. So we should unlock a card here. We're going to unlock another Enlarge. And we've unlocked a new achievement, Beastmaster. What is that? So I'm going to pull up my Steam overlay. I'm going to look at control an attacking creature with 10 power or greater. Okay, well we did that. Our Colonian Tusker went up to 11-11 and then absolutely battered the crap out of our opponent. So that's fantastic. As before, I'm going to go into my deck manager and just pull out this Enlarge because I don't want 61 cards in my deck. Where are you? There we go. I already have 2 Enlarge in my deck. That's fine. Perfect. Okie doke. So, yeah, that's the first 2 encounters in the Innistrad plane. We have...
Ramaz gave me a pendant from
We have 2 more left. Angry Mob and Avacyn's Glory, and then we get to take on another Planeswalker. So we will do that in the next episode. As always, thank you all very much for coming along for the ride, guys. Thank you very much for the views and for all the wonderful feedback I'm getting. As I say, I'm going to be continuing with this series of playing through Magic 2014, so you guys get number 1, a flavour for Magic itself, and number 2, an idea of the game itself and how it works, and go through it. I'm having a lot of fun just simply playing through it myself, so it's very, very easy for me to just run through this and record it and talk over it and ramble as I normally do, so I'm quite happy to do that. So as I say, thank you very much for coming along, and like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment if you have any feedback or any queries, questions, anything you'd like to add. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you'd like to see more, and we'll talk to you guys next time. So thanks very much, take care.